this is for anybody really, whether you're a young person or an old person or midlife or whatever that could be, whether you're 10 years old, 12 years old, 43 years old, 65 years old, 90, doesn't matter. Okay. I'm trying to help all you guys out and to help us all be informed on what's happening in the sports card world and what is there good things to buy, what can be next into the future. And if you're watching this video at the end, I'm going to get into the future. What do you think the hobby is going to do like in the future? What's going to happen in the future? And there's NFTs and things like that we're going to get into later. But what's the next step for the hobby? Is it still paper cards and cardboard cards and things like that? Or is it going to get older and things like, or not older, but what's going to happen in the future? So I'm going to go through a bunch of things to hopefully help open your eyes up with some stuff and, know what's going on from nostalgia to balancing and all different kinds of crazy stuff that I've been talking about over my last videos as well, just to help you guys out. And we love when you guys comment. We love when you guys are, going back and forth with us and other people in the comments and things like that, because it's a community. And we want to have an open air space for you guys to say anything that you want. And this is what we're trying to do with this channel, not trying to buy cards and sell cards and things like that and try to make money and all that different kind of stuff. I know we're called hustlers and everybody says that in the comments sometimes, but it's hustlers like never stopping, never giving up, and always trying to help you guys out and help us out as well by looking for cards and looking for the best cards and what are the best things. In the meantime of us looking for the best things, we're actually doing like a weekly email list, and we're sending out a lot of different things like updates and news and restocks and things like that. And if you want to be part of this email list that we're starting something new, comment down below and comment the word insider, and we'll send you this just general email list about where should I go to find an a Topps Chrome blaster box. Where's the best place to find it? Where can I go? What are some new things coming out over the next couple of weeks that I'm going to keep my eyes open for? What cards are the best cards to buy over this month and things like that. So it's a lot of update news because a lot of you ask comments and talk about the comments in what's going on, and a lot of you don't have the time to go searching all these websites and trying to find stuff. So we're trying, or at least I'm trying to find a way for you guys to get informed, but also sending out lists and things like that weekly and monthly to show you guys that we're looking for stuff for you and what's the best thing to actually find. So hopefully it's going to be a good thing for you guys to help you guys out. We're trying to help you guys out. So the first thing I wrote down by looking at being a new sports card holder or an old sports card hustler or older or whatever that could be, right, is the evolution of the hobby. Looking at past versus present cards, looking at old school versus like modern cards and how they are different. Past versus present. I mean, I grew up in the late 80s, in the early 90s, and that was like the wax pack era, of course, right? And, card design changed, availability changed, accessibility changed. There wasn't Walmarts and there wasn't Targets for us to go to these cards and get them real fast. And there wasn't online, when we were back in the day. I tell my students all the time, like, we were driving around and we didn't have no phones. If we got in trouble and we got a call, we had to go to like a payphone. And they're like, what's a payphone, right? So, I mean, all this stuff changed over the course of technology, and also cards changed over the course of technology as well. So accessibility, availability, all that stuff happened versus past versus present, and old school versus modern cards. Now, if you have a lot of old school cards, I have a lot of like 80s and 90s cards of football and baseball and some basketball. But some of you are older than me, and you might have like 50s cards and 60s cards and 70s cards, and they're like the more rare ones compared to like the late 80s and early 90s. And those cards are awesome too, like when you're looking at all the different designs. But like, how has it changed? How has production changed? How has grading changed? How has all these different kinds of cards and the inserts and parallels? Like you get a pro set NHL, and it's like one really set, and they have all stars, and that's pretty much it. There's no numbers, there's no autos, there's like a Stanley Cup that you want to look for, but there's nothing anything else in the pro set NHL. Like I think it was like a 1994, 1992, I forget what year it was, right? And things now, it's like you have different kind of parallels, different kind of sets, different kind of this, different kind of that, and there's so many different kind of things that, which is both good and bad. It's overwhelming because it's bad, because if you're a new collector, like, what the heck am I going to collect? But it's also good because I like the designs. I like how they're different colors, and I think the kids like those designs as well, and they're really into trying to collect these different parallels and stuff like that. But like just going through grading real fast. I mean, grading didn't start until like the early 90s. If you had a graded card in the early 90s, that was rare, right? And that wasn't too long ago. And PSA, I think, started in 1991, and Beckett was like 97, and then SGC, I think, was 98. So, I mean, within that 10-year span of the 90s, like cards, were getting graded more. And there was a lot of counterfeit cards prior to the grading. And now you have grading, and it has more of, trust in the value and the authenticity of those cards are now, you can find them and you can look at those cards and you can find those cards and know that they're not fake cards. I mean, we went to a card show when I was a kid, when I was like 10 or 11 years old. We set up a table. We sold like all of our He-Man stuff and Thundercat stuff and games and things like that. And I'm looking back there, I have nothing from my childhood other than some cards. I don't have any toys or anything like that. And I think my mom threw them out, really, but that's what she said. She said she didn't throw them out. She says we sold them, but I don't think I sold all that stuff. But anyway, I have a lot of cards, and I remember getting an Eric Lindros card. This is probably like 93, 94, maybe 92. And like Eric Lindros was big back in 92 for the Flyers. And this guy was selling a card at his table. So I go over there. I forget how much it was. Maybe it was like $20. And $20 is a lot to a 10-year-old or 11-year-old. And went to the card, got it. And then I go back to our table, and all our friends were, oh, you got an Eric Lindros card. Look at it. That's a fake card. That's a fake card. I'm like, what do you mean it's a fake card? There's like nothing on the back. You just taped something on there. I'm like, oh, I just spent $20, tried to go back there and try to give it back to him, and he wouldn't give my money back. And that was pretty an eye-opening experience of, the card hobby for me. And after that, now you have grading services where you can send these things away and see if they're actually legit and things like that, and get a grade, get a PSA 9, PSA 10, whatever that could be. And then over the course of the years, now you have like a 9.5 and 9.2. So they kind of expanded the grade compared to what they had before. But that's what we've been seeing versus old school versus modern cards. And the grading did help the authenticity of these cards and the trusting and the value of what you're buying. So that's very important. Lessons from experience. Well, I mean, I just told you some lessons that I learned when I was a kid from experience, but there's some mistakes, and some mistakes that you do and some wins that you get. Some things you find in the blaster box that may be worth a couple $100 and you want to save and hold on to it. And then sometimes it goes down in value. Sometimes it goes up in value. Sometimes you spend too much money on a card and it goes back down. It's worth nothing. You live and learn, but you learn and what happens into the market, what happens in the value. And I always said, even with stocks and things like that, that pigs get slaughtered. That means that if I have a card and it's worth a pretty good penny now, I'll probably want to sell that card and, put it on eBay or go to a card shop, whatever it is, sell it, get my money, even though it might have a chance of going up in the future, or it might have a chance of going like way down in the future too. So as long as you have that money and you want to use that money to buy more blaster boxes or to buy other cards, you have to do some buying and selling, because, I mean, that's the card hobby. You can't just get things for free. So you want to buy cards, you want to sell cards and things like that. And, sometimes you make mistakes, sometimes you win. Depends on, your experience. The more experience you get, the better you get at these things, the better things you can notice, right? But like, I was asking a question before I was doing this video to myself, is like, what do I wish that I knew? And if you're still watching this, hopefully after 9 minutes, right? Hopefully, like, what do you wish that you did when you were younger? And as you get older, what do you realize that you could have done better, with the sports card hobby and things like that? So, shoot us that in the comments and let us know, because I love reading all these comments and like learning about what you guys did and what I did and so on and so forth. And it's good community atmosphere. I love it. So, but like, what things did I do impulsive wise? Go for and buy a Lindros card. What things did I not appreciate when I was younger? I didn't appreciate cards that much when I was younger compared to what I do now. I appreciate opening packs with my kids, right? I appreciate getting a blaster box for $30, $35. I know they're kind of expensive now, right? But I appreciate going there and getting a blaster box, and then eventually, let me kind of make this so it's better tracking, okay? And I would rather, get this and, open it with my kids, and, that $30 might be worth it opening with my kids because, they love it. They love opening cards and seeing what cards they get and adding it to their collection and stuff like that. So, I mean, it's a very thing that appreciation that I didn't really get when I was a kid, but I do get now because I had kids and I can put myself in their place. And I'm also a teacher too. So it helps out to put myself in, students' places and things like that. Doing your research. I never did my research when I was a kid. Never researched nothing. I just went over there. Oh, it's Lindros card. Let me go get it. Right? Oh, it's a Joe Montana card. Let me go get it. And it wasn't really much to do. Didn't really research too much. Didn't know if that was a good card company. Didn't know if that was a great card, a good card, bad card, and whatever the price was. I'm like, oh, let's get that for $20, and it really was worth like 50 cents. So you have to do a lot of research. If you're a young kid watching this video, make sure you research. It's so easy to research now. Go on YouTube. Go on, watch our channel, right? Okay. Subscribe to our list, our email list, right? But no, you can go on YouTube. You can go to have different apps. You can do different a lot of things to research stuff and go on eBay and search what these cards are going for. It's a very important thing to do. The emotional, this is like the most important thing to me, is the emotional side of collecting. I'm sure it's important to Scotty. I'm sure it's important to Johnny as well. And nostalgia, connection. It's so rewarding to, the emotional connections that you make when you're communicating with people and talking to people and, going to a card show and talk about all this kind of stuff with people like, oh yeah, I used to collect that card when I was a kid and so on and so forth and all that. So it's a great thing to do, right? What I try to do with this channel is I don't try to edit anything. Nothing's really edited. So if I stumble my words or if I only know what I'm talking about, sometimes usually happens, right? This is just me talking to you guys. And that's all I hope that you guys appreciate, because not many channels do that. A lot of channels edit and it's really like, scripted. This is not scripted other than me writing a couple of different notes down. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, that's all it is. And just me talking to you guys and helping to get to your feedback as well. So emotional side collecting is very important. Community, online, in person, that motivates you. Oh man, I'm going to get this card. I'm going to try to get this set before my friend gets this set and try to, do some camaraderie and things like that too. So it's very important. Balancing hobby with real life. This is very hard because, I work for a living. I'm a teacher. We do have those a couple, weeks off in the summertime, a month off, month and a half off for the summertime. I get a lot of videos done during that, right? But it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of time away from, I try to do these things, before my kids get home from school and stuff like that, just because there's a lot of things that can happen in this course of the night that I want to be there for. And, it's very, time management is very difficult if you're working and then doing a YouTube channel and things like that. So it's, and trying to go to Walmart and get a blaster box or whatever that could be. So it's very important to kind of have a good time management skill and not be all. It's always okay if you're not perfect, right? Because no one is, right? And that's okay, right? And it's a good thing to do to, go get some blaster boxes, open up with your kids, but also spend time with your kids as well. So it's very important, or spend time with your parents and stuff like that if you're watching this. Financial side, balancing hobby again, right in this section. Financial side, setting budgets, concentrating on long-term investments. What are you going to do with your cards? How are they going to look when you do these things to your cards? Where are you going to put them? How much are you going to get them graded? Are you going to put them in a box? Are you going to display them? There's a lot of things to go through on the financial side that you might spend a lot of money on, but at the same time, time management is very important as well. As trying to manage your time with your real job, and then trying to do it with us, a YouTube channel, but also doing some cards and on the side, and all that stuff is very hard to do. So you have to kind of respect the time of how much people put into stuff. So, and you can see if you go to card shows, a lot of people put a lot of time in this stuff. And they have a lot of awesome displays and games and things like that. And that's what this hobby's here for, to have fun. The last thing is I'm going to say is about investment and approach. And what should you do when you're trying to invest? Some people like flipping cards. Some people like holding on to cards and having them for long term. That's up to you. You can't get mad at somebody if they're going to be flipping cards and making money, where you're going to hold on to them and maybe make money in the end, or just hold on, pass them down to your kids. That's just the way the hobby is, and that's just how things are going. But looking at trends in the market from an investment standpoint, right, it's very important to look at, okay, what cards are good, what cards are bad. So that's why we're doing this weekly giveaway, or not weekly giveaway, but this weekly newsletter that's going to allow us to look at trends in the market and show you what cards are the best during this time, which cards are the best to look at this time, what boxes are the best to try to get. If you can go to Walmart and you can find a Topps Chrome, update, grab it, because they're like double the price now. I just ordered one that was $49 to open up for our Pack-A-Day challenge, and it's $113, $120 on Walmart. So if you can find some of these things, hold on to them, and maybe in the future they'll be even worth even more, right? You only have to sell cards. You can sell it in boxes if you needed money and things like that. So the future. So what could we do in the future? What could be like some things in the future? This is where I said in the beginning of the video, like what are some things that you think the card hobbies going to go into the future? And what's innovative? What's gonna be the new tech for these card companies? And I know right now there's a lot of digital cards and a lot of like the blockchain technology and NFTs and things like that. And you might not know about blockchain technology. It's a lot to learn, but it's pretty much what it guarantees authenticity, and it guarantees that there's no fakes. And you can always trace it back to what you bought it from or what you sold it from. And it's always traceable. So that's a good thing to do. There's way more to it than that. And there's way more than I don't know about with blockchain technology, but we are in some NFTs and we do that a lot, right? But you have to watch because there's a lot of scams out there as well and try to steal all your stuff too. So it's a little crazy too. But what's next? I wrote down like 4 things. Like I can show you like my things here, right? So I wrote down a couple of things, and I said holographic cards or augmented reality cards. I was thinking in my head, okay, so what like would be some things that is going to happen in the next like 20 years, 30 years, 50 years, They used to have holographic cards back in the 90s, and there was like holographic, but now they're maybe like it's going to get even more intense augmented reality, like how Pokemon Go, you're walking around, like cards like that. Or even interactive cards, like you scan and get exclusive content. You get exclusive videos for this stuff or whatever, right? Who knows what's going to happen, right? You ever see like those Harry Potter books and you can see like the thing, right? Maybe in hundreds and hundreds of years that might happen. It's like you can see the video on the card or things like that. I don't know, right? I doubt that. It's probably a lot of money for each card. But like you can scan it with your device and then see like that person making that catch at that time. That'd be really, really neat. I think that'd be pretty cool. Or hitting that home run at that time. They kind of have them now at the tops now, but they kind of have that now with the baseball. Card personalization. Maybe you can customize a Bryce Harper card. You can customize a Adley Rutschman card or whatever, a Shohei Ohtani. And you can customize these cards and make them how you want to make them. So that'd be a pretty neat thing to do. And you can even sell them. I know Scotty was doing that maybe like 6 months ago, 8 months ago. He was actually making his own cards and things like that. So that was a pretty neat thing to do. Last thing is like gamified collections, like earning badges, earning rewards and things like that for collections. Maybe you do a lot of collections. Here comes my wife, right? You're going to do a lot of collections and interacting, and you get rewards for collecting this set or whatever that could be. So, that'd be a cool thing to do, and you get like badges and things like that. So that'd be a pretty neat thing to do. But other than that, this is like hopefully has helped you out. We appreciate you guys watching. We'll talk to you guys next time. Later.